Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting excuse me, of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council to order for April 7th, 2016 at 8 p.m.
Keith? Keith?
Yes.
What about Lou? Not coming?
No. On roll call, Council members Coletti.
Here.
Churdo. Here. Dombrowski. Here. Gian Domenico.
Here.
Martino. Here. Bonsino is absent due to being out of state. Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we trust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires a statement of compliance to be read at each meeting. Now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice of record and the Herald News of West Patterson, and by posting such notice in the Office of Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2016. This council meeting is being videoed and it will be shown on our website and also on Cablevision and the Verizon. Cablevision 77, Verizon Channel 40. Monday at 2 p.m., Thursday at 4 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Mayor, at this time, we have the approval of minutes for the March 17th, 2016 regular meeting, the March 24th, 2016 work session, and the March 24th, 2016 executive session.
May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion.
Mr. Martino, second.
Second.
Ms. Gian Domenico. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Council members Coletti.
Yes.
Churdo. Yes. Dombrowski. Here. Yes. Gian Domenico. Sorry.
Yes.
She asked me a
I
question.
always
Martino.
said
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Motion carries.
What happens when I get distracted?
Mayor, this evening under ordinances on first reading, we have Resolution R 121-16, introduce ordinance 16-08 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Traffic be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, April 21st, 2016 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Martino, second.
Second.
Who was second? Anthony? Mr. Churdo? Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
I'd like to commend the council in revisiting this ordinance. However, I feel they should have gone a little further, and I was in the area of about $100, and this at $150, which would have served equally the same purpose.
This is for the snow.
Snow parking, yes.
Parking.
Snow parking ordinance.
Anyone else? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Council members Coletti.
No.
Churdo. Yes. Dombrowski. Yes. Gian Domenico.
yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under second reading, we have Resolution R 122-16, introduce ordinance 16-05 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Exceed the Municipal Budget Appropriation Limits and to Establish a Cap Bank, and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, March 17, 2016, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Exceed the Municipal Budget Appropriation Limits and to Establish a Cap Bank pass on final reading. Mayor, I'll need a motion to open the public.
Motion, please. Mr. Coletti and Mr. Churdo. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So ordered. Is anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this? If not, I'll close the public portion.
Mayor, we'll need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Motion to adopt, please.
So moved.
Maggie, second?
Second.
And Coletti? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
No.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Motion carries. Also on second reading tonight, we have Resolution 123-16, introduce ordinance 16-06 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Animal Control, and specifically Section 5-2.6 thereof entitled Failure to Obtain a License, and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, March 17, 2016, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Amend Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Animal Control, and specifically Section 5-2.6 thereof, entitled Failure to Obtain a License, pass on final reading. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Dombrowski, Cherto. Discussion? All in favor? Anyone in the audience who wish to be heard? If not, I'll close the public portion. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Mr. Martino, second.
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 Mr. Dombrowski, discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Bonsino is absent. Motion carries. Resolution R-124-16, introduce ordinance 16-07 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Prevent the Unlawful Enrollment of School Children in the Borough of Elmwood Park School System and to provide penalties therefore, and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, March 17, 2016, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled An Ordinance to Prevent the Unlawful Enrollment of School Children in the Elmwood Park Public School System and to provide penalties therefore pass on final reading. Mayor will need a motion to open to the public.
Motion.
So moved.
Giandomenico, second.
Second.
Got it.
Cherto. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Anyone in the audience who wish to be heard? No one wish to be heard? May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Mr. Dombrowski, second.
Second.
Giandomenico, discussion?
If I may, Mayor,
Yes, you may.
this ordinance deals with violators who unlawfully enroll persons in our schools. They now will be judged in an Elmwood Park's court system rather than at the county level, where at the county level, they might be a little more lenient. Deterring violators is monumental when you factor in the cost of educating a person and the violators not paying taxes to offset that cost. This council, the mayor, have all endorsed this along with the school district. And this ordinance will go a long way to deter would-be violators. Mayor?
Thank you. Anyone else? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Coletti?
Yes.
Churdo?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Bonsito is absent. Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 125-16, payment of bills, R-126-16, payment of escrow, R-127-16, confirmation of payroll, R-128-16, appoint firefighter Mark Hedinger, Jr., Company 2, Resolution 129-16, authorize payment for Market Street Force Main improvements to the Unuzi Group, Inc., Resolution 130-16, authorize payment number 2, 2014 road program to AJM Contractors Incorporated. Resolution 131-16, resolution for member participation in the Cranford Police Cooperative Pricing System. Resolution 132-16, appoint keyboard and clerk in the Finance Department, Consuelo Carpenter. Resolution 133-16, resolution to write off credit balances on property tax accounts. Resolution 134-16, resolution to refund credit balances on property tax accounts. Resolution 135-16, refund taxpayers for overpayments due to Tax Appeal 79 Broadway. Resolution 136-16, redeem third-party tax lien 102 Elm Street. Resolution 137-16, resolution to create a formal policy relative to credit accounts. Resolution 138-16, authorized professional service agreement, Excel Environmental Resources Incorporated, licensed site remediation professional for the Cinco Paint property. Resolution 139-16, place-to-place liquor license transfer, Somros Inc. Resolution 140-16, place-to-place liquor license transfer, Harshad Darova, LLC. Resolution 141-16, approved length of services award program for LoSAP for calendar year 2015. Resolution 142-16, award bids for pump station number 6 improvements to Capola Services, Inc. Resolution 143-16, authorized refunds for the Recreation Department programs. Resolution 144-16, appoint firefighter Joel Castillo, Company Number 2. Resolution 145-16, change order 1 and 2, remounting of ambulance chassis PL custom emergency vehicles. And Resolution 146-16, resolution to approve the actions noted in the consent agenda.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mayor,
Mr. Gene Domenico?
can we pull one out?
Which one?
Our 14116,
Sure.
only because my name's on that one, so I'm going to abstain from that.
Actually, during the roll call, if you'd like to note the
Okay.
abstention, we can do it that way.
Call the roll, please.
I need a second on the motion.
Second.
Dombrowski.
Mr. Dombrowski.
On roll call, council members Coletti,
Yes.
Churdo,
Yes, but abstain on that one.
141. So noted. Dombrowski?
Yes.
Giandomenico?
Yep.
Martino?
Yes.
Boncino is absent. Motion carries. Mayor, under departmental reports tonight, we have the Public Works Department for December, January, and February, and the Library Board minutes for February 22nd and March the 7th. We'll need a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Motion to receive and file, please. Mr. Martino, second.
Second.
Mr. Churdo, discussion? All in favor, opposed? So ordered.
And tonight, under applications, we have a raffle application for mobilization for animal rights.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Dombrowski, second.
Second.
John Domenico. Any motion, any discussion? All in favor, opposed? So ordered.
Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Council reports. Mr. Martino?
A few things. Myself, I'm the chairman of the white, for the personnel, and we're making great progress on the white-collar, blue-collar contracts. Hopefully, by the end of the month, we're going to have that one done, and with the help of Councilwoman Giandomenico and Councilman Coletti, I think we're doing the right thing for the town and obviously for everyone involved. Also, on the 27th of April, there will be a homeowners meeting. Hopefully, everyone can attend, and we can go forward on that. That's all, Mayor.
What time do they start, 7?
7.
Okay. Mr. Churdo?
In regards to DPW, the street cleaner has been out. They've been repairing potholes. They've been fixing several storm drains, working on the fields. Don't forget that April 4th started the waste pickup, or yard waste. That'll go to October 14th. And on April 16th is townwide cleanup at the rec center. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coletti?
Recently, Elmwood Park received an achievement award at the GIF Safety Breakfast for achieving a score of 84 points. In attendance to receive the award was Mayor Moeller, Councilperson John Domenico, and myself. Did I get that right, John Domenico? That's the first time I ever had to say it.
Sounds like two names, John and Domenico, right?
That's how you could remember it.
The rec is still laboring with the hockey rink location in their endless pursuit to get it right. This should be coming to a head soon. And regarding our fire department, April 3rd was a heck of a day for them. I should say an action-packed day for our fire department. First, we responded to a lightning strike at the Altier condos. As the department was wrapping up there, we got a standby request from Fairlawn Fire Department, who were fighting numerous fires. Then comes the call from Markel. We take our department off standby with Fairlawn, put Markel's fire out, head back to our firehouse. When the house fire on Washington alarm comes in, we put that fire out, and then finally we went home for Sunday dinner. This was a textbook day that the fire department trains for. They went without a hitch. No injuries to the residents, no injuries to the department. Great coordination with our mutual aid family, which we thank very much. We, the residents of Elmwood Park, are so blessed to have such a great group of volunteers. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you. Before I call on you, Mr. John Mayor, We already voted on the liquor license. I see about 5, 6, 7 people here who are worried about their liquor license. It's already been passed. If you wish to leave, you can. You have your liquor license. You can go out for a beer or whatever you want to do.
Just let us know where.
Maggie?
On behalf of the Board of Ed, back in January, I spoke with the superintendent after one of our meetings because they do tape their meetings when they take place, and I asked him when they would be available on the website, and he mentioned right now that it's in the works. So I followed up with him last week just to see if there was any date set for when the Board of Ed would be placing their videos online, so then the people who can't attend their meetings, that way they could view them at a later time at the convenience of their house. He said right now they're available through an Oprah request, but it's up to the board to look into bringing that up again and putting them on the website. So I look forward for the board taking that into consideration. I know it's been discussed before, so I hope that it's something that could be done for transparency sometime this year. I also like to recognize Mrs. Freitag for her award she received for leadership and contributions she has done, and she's a great asset to Elmwood Park, and we're very lucky to have her. Our students and children are very lucky to have her, and I also like to thank her. On my email, I requested a tour of the schools, and she agreed to it with the superintendent, Mr. Greco. When things calm down, I understand it's a school year, so I told them we don't have to do it immediately, but it's something that I would like to do, and I thank them for allowing me to do that. In regards to the budget and the Finance Committee, we're still waiting to hear back from the county about their tax portion, and since the introduction of the budget, I have not received any additional budget adjustments or reduction recommendations from any council members. That was sent out in an email to them. If they have any recommendations on anything, they're more than welcome to send it forward, since we still could take it into review. And lastly, my aunt's here from Poland. She's helping me out taking care of my daughter. So Wallington, since it has a huge Polish population, they, a couple years ago, did a section of Polish books in the Polish language, and they got a lot of the local store owners and business owners to donate a bunch of books. So the Buckle system, which is great because anybody who possesses a library card, and I encourage everybody to go down to 210 Lee Street and get a library card. If you don't have one, you could request a book from any of the participating 67 plus libraries. Well, when I went on there, I'm fluent in Polish, but I don't know all the Polish titles and the authors. So there was no way to just get a list of running titles in that foreign language. In my case, it was Polish. So we took a trip to Wallington Library and we rented it out. The following day, I was talking to the executive director of Buckles, Mrs. Coughlin, sorry, and I also spoke to Bobby, our executive director at the library, and I mentioned that maybe the Buckle system in our library as well could somehow have different categories for cataloging foreign books. So what I got from the Buckles system, they gave me a list of over 1,000 Polish books, and I sent that over to our library. So they currently have that on hand if somebody was to go in there and just say they want to glance through the titles, because you might not know all the books that are available to you. And I have to thank Bobby. She said she would bring it up at her next Buckles meeting, that maybe they could catalog their foreign books in all the different languages, more accessible for people. I know you could type it in and stuff, but I think if you have like a link and it just gives you a running title, it would be a lot helpful. Lastly, I'd like to acknowledge Maria Nahorniak. She's been doing a great job with planning the fashion show on behalf of the Centennial Committee and everybody else that's helping out with that. That takes place next Tuesday, April 12th at 6:30 at the Fiesta, and there's still tickets available. If you're up for an evening of fashion and entertainment, please join us. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Dombrowski?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to congratulate Jean Freitag and also another resident, Yvette Rowland. They both received the award for Women Achievement Award from our Senator Nellie Poe. Congratulations on that. On the Board of Health, we have our rabies clinic on May 18th from 5 to 7 p.m. It will be located at the company number 4 firehouse, which is over by Borough Field in the ball fields. Anybody who has a dog or a cat that needs to get their rabies shots, they can go there for free, again, for between 5 and 7 and get their free rabies shots. Also, during the course of the month, Bergen County offers it twice, offers low-cost vaccines twice a month from 3:30 to 6:30. If anybody would like any information on that, they could call the Teterboro Animal Shelter at 201-229-4600. Not only do they offer the vaccines, but they also do the distemperament and the microchipping, all at a very low cost. So if anybody has a new animal or even an older animal they want to have it, they could take it down there. Just call the Teterboro for an appointment. On the Chamber of Commerce, April 24th, they will be sponsoring a bus trip to the Sands Casino in Pennsylvania. It will leave outside the Waureka Catering at 10 a.m. and will return around 5 p.m. The cost is $40 per person, and you will get $25 back if anybody is interested. There are about 5 seats left on the bus. It's a maximum of 55 and on the bus, and it's going to be a great event. Anybody wishing to obtain a ticket, you can call 201-794-0966. Because Councilman Boncino's not here, I'd just like to say that our Elmo Park Police Department will be having their annual beefsteak on April 22nd at 7:30 p.m. at the American Legion. They will also have a comedian by the name of John Pizzi. He's a nationally known comedian. It usually is a fun time. The cost is $55 per person, and if anybody is interested to just contact Officer Mike Pralick or Detective Rob Chenkowski at 201-796-0700. And our ambulance corps will also be having their beefsteak on May 7th at the VFW, and that'll be from, that's a $50, and I believe they also are having a comedian. So if anybody's interested, they could call the same number, 796-0700, and they'll be able to give you the same, give you the information on the ambulance corps. And I encourage the residents to please support, as Councilman Coletti had mentioned, about you know that Sunday, that last Sunday when we had those multiple fires. Our volunteers are professionals. Somebody had put a YouTube video on Facebook that I watched, and in that video it was of the house fire on Washington Avenue. Now, if you recall, Councilman Coletti mentioned that Washington Avenue fire was the last one of the day. Well, let me tell you, you could hear Chief Pralick, Chief Pressler, you know, shouting out the instructions. He was meticulous. Everybody listened. You saw the senior members helping the junior members, making sure that their gear is ready so that they can enter the fire. I was so impressed. And this is our volunteers, folks, and this is what helps save our tax dollars. So please support them, support their beefsteaks. And the ambulance corps was right there in case anybody got hurt. I have to tell you, it was a superb job. And then lastly, I did attend the last library meeting, and unfortunately, I heard the words that the project probably will not get started this year on the library. It is discouraging to hear that, but you know, given everything that's been going on, you know, we just hope that it's going to get taken care of in 2017. Progress.
Thank you. I just wanted to indicate to the council here that our administrator, Mr. Kazmark, and Mr. Councilman Dombrowski and I met with the Bergen County Parks Director, and what we did there, we discussed any fee that was going to be charged to the Little League or any of the teams that want to use the Waterworks property, which belongs to the county. That will not be charged this year, and I indicated, which was good news, and I indicated to them that when the county purchased that property from Garfield in 2004, I think it was, started in 2000 period. 2004, the actual was a transaction. Elmwood Park was told that they would not have to pay anything for using that park. So it's working out well with them. And I also indicated to them that they should try to clean up the Waterworks property along Gilbert Avenue, along East 54th Street, and take out some of the debris that's in there. And it certainly looks bad. They said they would be looking into it and see where they can go, and I hope they move. What did I say, Joe? back 50 feet, they told
50
me
feet,
a couple of
yes.
years ago. And I also indicated to them if they don't want to clean it up, they should give some thought. If they want to give the property back to Elmwood Park, no, back to it, we never owned it. If they want to give it to us, we can work some type of agreement out where they can help us at least get started cleaning it, and then we can have the property. I haven't heard from them since. I'll be contacting them. Two other good pieces of good news. We recently been told by the Department of Transportation that we will receive $155,000 to pave Section 10, Phase 2 of the Boulevard, which is from Falmouth Avenue to Washington Avenue. And hopefully when it's fully resolved from the community development money, we should be getting approximately $121,000 from them to help pave streets in the particular areas that qualify for CDBG money. So put two of them together, we're talking $270,000 to help pave our streets. And quite frankly, we didn't get to some streets last year. They're going to be done this year, so you're going to see a lot of paving going on this year, which is good for the town. That concludes my report, and if I may, anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard, please raise your hand, give us your name and address. No one wishes to be heard, I'll close the public.
There's somebody out there.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Lance Graber. I live at 7 Orchard Street in Elmwood Park. I'm here to direct this to Councilman Joe Dombrowski. I'm here on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce to find out what's going on with the recycling project that was proposed a few years ago.
Okay. I brought that project to the council last year, and during the year it ended up going into 2016. Right now we're at the process of getting a bid to go out to the to take on this project. Unfortunately, in government we have to put it out to bid, and if there's only the one bidder, which is Green Acres, they'll be awarded the bid. Unfortunately, though, the chamber will not be getting the proceeds from that. The council, this council has chosen to take it on to the municipality. So I know it was a chamber project, but you know, it's going to be going to the municipality.
Through you, Mayor, I have a final version of the bid specs that I expect from the borough attorney on Monday. So it'll be listed as an agenda item for next week's work session for the council to review them in their entirety before we advertise.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Tom Conboy, 135 Toronto Avenue. First, I'd just like to thank Councilman Joe Dombrowski. Joe, I know it was mentioned here tonight by the mayor, but truth be told, I think you deserve a lot of credit. For the last 2 years, you've been on top of the fields to make sure that the Little League, pretty much, who is the one who uses it the most, doesn't have to pay any of the fees. They tried to institute the fees last year. You jumped on it right away, went down to the county and talked to the folks and so forth to get it all done. So, and I know early, several months ago, at a rec meeting, before the year was out, you had said you were already in negotiation, talking to the county to make sure that that doesn't happen. So as always, you're proactive for the kids in town. So thank you. Even though I'm not involved in Little League, even though the community news thinks I am, but I know it's important to the kids. They don't have $5,000 to spend to do that. I know I missed a couple of meetings, and I haven't been here. I know you guys all missed me. I got your hurry back, good wishes. Budget. Did you
get one from me, Tom?
Mayor, no, but I did finally get your holiday card. I want to thank you. I have it framed. I do. I want to thank you.
I appreciate it. I don't know how you get way up on that house, but you do a good job.
Yeah, my house. My house looks nice. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, there you go. You do what you got to do, Mayor. You know what I'm saying? So.
No.
He sends his kids up there.
Just come out of my time, please, Mr. Passmark. The mayor's engaging me.
It's all part of your time.
Budget. So Tonight, I know you budgeted, you talked about the budget, and Mr. Dombrowski, Councilman Dombrowski voted no. I understand, though, I know the budget is a working document, it's still not finalized. However, from what I understand, I was at earlier meetings when the year started. Your building department is still projecting a very good year. I'm sure the courts are doing well. You guys continue to talk about how healthy the recreation department is and how the money's just flowing in due to the aftercare and summer and all that stuff. That's way up. And as always, we did pass on an increase on the water increase to the residents. So taxes are going up. I don't care if it's $49 per house at $338,000. I'm sure Mr. Lurch told you, yeah, you know, you probably could come in at zero, but, you know, it's probably not a good idea. The mayor used to tell me it's never good to come in at zero because they always want zero. And talking to some of the your colleagues up here, I asked how come we're not at zero, and that's exactly what they said to me. Can't always be at zero, you know. Well, why not? We were at zero last year. I think you guys, before you finalize it at the April 21st meeting, if that's when it's finalized, I think we should, we can never control the county, as the mayor always tells us. The county's going to do what the counties do, the Board of Ed's going to do what the Board of Ed's going to do. But you guys control your portion. I think it should come back in at zero. So I hope you'll make it come in at zero. And if you remember, at the November meeting or December meeting, I told you at the time you had about $4 million in surplus. And I told you that come the fall, when you do all your transfers and adjustments, you probably have about $2 million left. And if I'm not mistaken, if I've done my homework and sharpened my pencils, you probably have a little over $2 million left. Actually, even Councilman Martino agreed that he thought it was going to be a healthy, the budget would look healthy and that the surplus looks healthy. And even though the mayor said to me he didn't think so, but he agreed that he thought it did look healthy. So I hope you guys will continue to put your pencils and come in at zero. The taxpayers deserve it. Another last thing I just want to mention, two things. I was at, last night at a meeting, a parish meeting over at St. Leo's. I'm very offended as a worshiper of my Catholic faith that on in June, on the day of the centennial finale, we won't be able to go to 12 o'clock Mass. With no type of sensitivity, was the pastor able to maneuver anything that he now has to give up his 12 o'clock Mass, which also hurts the parish. There's 4 of you that I'm aware of that sit on this council that know that are parishioners at St. Leo's. And I think it's very sad that he had to be told that he cannot have a Mass on Sunday because we're going to shut down the streets for a parade that's going to start at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. So I don't know what kind of turnout we're expecting, but if that's part of the finale, you would think the parade's going to be later in the day because the finale parade. So anyway, I hope this council, I've already spoken to several council members on here who actually were surprised that this was news to them, that this was going to be happening. We're closing Market Street and Boulevard that early Sunday morning. I hope this council will speak with the people running the Centennial and get them to reconsider and move it a little later so that worshipers can attend St. Leo's. If not, then I think the Centennial Committee should at least look at that and see what the financial ramifications are to a parish that's very difficult, and maybe they should be given some type of payment back for what they'll possibly be doing. And you know, if we know anything about all of us who, wherever we decide where we worship, folks, if they can't get to, they love going to that particular Mass. They like going to 12 o'clock. There are still families who go all Mass together and then go and have a nice lunch, dinner together, the whole family. So I think that there was no consideration given in that area of what kind of impact it would have for those parishioners. And it is the only Catholic church in Elmwood Park, and I really think that should be reconsidered. So, and just one last item, I want to remind all the residents of a great opportunity that is growing leaps and bounds. I mentioned it once here before. It's a great thing that's done by one of our residents at no profit to her. It's a non-profit thing. It's called Elmwood Park Online Garage Sales Buy and Sale. You have to be a Facebook member. Just click. You can join up if you're approved, and so forth. If you meet all the criteria, it's a great opportunity for everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Rich Chewinski, 42 Walnut Street. I don't know what kind of minutes you have on the library there, but I was at the last meeting, and I said some of you people were there. Just an update. I've been asking for the rehab analysis for the old building for over 4 months now. I haven't seen anything from the architect guys. That's what's taking this project a little bit longer and longer. And I'm still in the dark, and I don't know what's going on. I'm a trustee. I've been there a year now. Just to give you a heads up on it.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? If not, I'll have a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Chirito, second by Mr. Coletti. All in favor, opposed? May I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Wait a minute, before we do that, let me just read this again. If you want to watch this meeting on cable, it's channel 77, Cablevision, and channel 40 on the FiOS, Monday 2 p.m., Thursday 4 p.m., Friday at 10 a.m., or you can watch it on our own website. The motion made by Mr. John Domenico and Mr. Chirito. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thank you very much for coming.